can oftentimes find these 55-gallon drums for free. And if you have to buy them new, they're around $60 to $100. In this video, I'm going to show you how to upcycle them into a garden bed. I'll be sharing a few tips to make the job easier throughout the video, and I'll leave the full dimensions in the video description. I'm going to show you how to prep the barrels for this project, but first make sure that your barrel is made out of a food grade plastic and it's never contained anything poisonous or harmful inside of it. This barrel right here has had windshield fluid in it, so I'm not going to be using it for a garden bed. But I'm going to cut it up just like I'd prep it if it were food safe and show you guys the process. Now, if you want to skip the step of taking out these bungs, you definitely can. The circular saw will cut right through those. But since there's some fluid in this, I don't want to make a big mess when I cut it open. So I'm going to take these off first and then drain the barrel. Sometimes these don't come off so easy, and they're on there really good. That one's not too bad. But if you can't get it off like that, a trick is take some needle nose pliers, put them in there, and then get yourself some leverage. This isn't that long of a tool, but if you can get a longer tool, you'll have more leverage. And then you can use that leverage to turn the bung. Once it's loose, you can just finish off the job and take it out. Before I cut this in half, I also want to mention there's another way to cut these and make a garbage can, composting bin, or water storage. But for that, you'll want to use a jigsaw, not a circular saw. Just take your jigsaw in here, cut into the rail here, and just kind of slightly angle it, and then you can go all the way around. Just want to make sure you're really careful when you cut to this point that you don't come through the barrel. Then once that is cut out, I just like to take a piece of sandpaper or a grinding stone and then smooth out the cut edge. I like to cut the bottom of the barrel first because it gives me guides when I'm cutting the sides. And now I have this big slit here to drain off any excess material so I can take it someplace safe. Oftentimes what's in these barrels is going to kill your grass or any vegetation. And before I make this cut, I put a heavy rock on one side and a brick on the other to keep the barrel from rolling. My battery's dying on the circular saw, but usually that cuts a lot smoother. Now we just have the top left. And all these plastic shavings make a pretty big mess, so keep them contained as well as you can and get them into a garbage can. If you know how to use a circular saw and a drill, you have all the skills necessary for this entire project. I did cut 4 45-degree angles, but the rest were all straight cuts. You don't have to do 45s on the top lid, but I do think it makes it a lot more aesthetically pleasing when you do. Now, when I built this frame a couple years ago, I used treated lumber and I used my miter saw, which made it go a lot quicker. So if you have a chop saw or miter saw, I would definitely recommend using that instead of the circular saw. The one thing you don't see on this garden bed right now is I do have little slats that I made out of 2x6s, just 2x6 treated lumber that I cut to cover these, and then you can just drill those in with pocket holes. The garden bed that I used in this video today is pretty old and beat up, but when you build this with new lumber, it looks pretty good actually. But before I go into doing the plumbing and everything with the barrels, which is very important, you definitely have to have drainage on these. I want to share 2 tips when you're building this frame. I like to use these Torx screws or Starbit screws. They just grip a lot better and it's not as easy to strip them out as Phillips or flathead screws. And then another thing is you definitely want to drill pilot holes first before you drive your screw in. That will keep the wood from splitting. I had to come into the shade. It is getting hot today. So these grow beds were plumbed for aquaponics beds, and I put these 3/4 inch bulkhead fittings inside of there. That gives you the freedom to kind of attach whatever you want in aquaponics. But if I were to do soil beds, I would honestly not drill a bunch of little holes all through the bottom of this because it kind of makes a mess. And having this one larger drain hole with the centralized drain, you can put something to catch all the excess water that comes out. And you can easily do that with a bulkhead fitting. And you could even pipe it off to wherever you needed to do so. If you want me to send you the dimensions to all the measurements on this whole plan, just give me a comment. Just tell me, give me the dimensions and the plans for this, and I will send that to you. This garden bed design may not be for everybody. It's not the most aesthetically pleasing garden bed, but it's functional and it is a great way to upcycle some plastic that would get wasted otherwise.